Alright, good afternoon, Summoners, and welcome to the Garena All-Star Championship. This will be Game 1, and I am G10 coming at you, and this is Arctic. We will be your shotcasters for this game, which will be between Team Vietnam and Team Malaysia.
Oh man, these are going to be some really intense games because, ladies and gents, we are looking at some of the finest. We're literally looking at the finest players from each region. Doesn't matter what team they're from, so long as whether they were voted because of the fan favorite, whether they were voted for being the strongest player in their lane. It all came down to the voting per region. So this is going to be some pretty intense games that we're going to be seeing today.
But definitely they will be some very, very good players, mainly because they were chosen by their fans, by all the players of that region to represent in one team their entire region.
Exactly. And I'm really looking forward to this because looking at the past matches, I've been reviewing some of the other regions. We're seeing some pretty heavy names from each team here. It all comes down to whether these teams, these players can come together from their different teams, because we're going to be seeing different play styles, trying to mix and match. So I guess it all comes down to that. I guess the power rankings per region aren't really as relevant here. It all comes down to how well they synergize, given the few weeks that they had practicing to come to this very event that we have here for today.
Yes, and this will be day 1 of 4 days of competition, right? So the first 2 days, today, Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday, will be the group stages, and in the weekend, the group, Saturday and Sunday,
yes,
we will have the playoffs and the finals.
Yes, so ladies and gents, so we are currently divided into Group A and Group B. So for each group, we have 3 teams total, and of course, the top 2 teams per group will be proceeding to I believe those are semi-final matches and then final matches right after. So there we go. And of course, the bottom of each group will unfortunately have to end their journey in the Garena All-Star Championship right there. So, and of course, you don't want to be that team that ends their journey so early on.
Yeah. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the top team who will advance to Barcelona in Spain on December 1 to 4, where they will be playing the International Wild Card All-Star event.
Yes, and of course, whoever wins that I guess they'll be staying put, because like a week after is going to be the All-Star for the entire world. We're talking about all the All-Stars coming from NA, EU, Korea, and all the other regions coming together. So
China,
it's definitely
Taiwan,
an honor.
Everybody, right?
Yeah, literally everybody.
And that will be held December 8 to 11. So this is just a small step, and then if someone wins, well, definitely someone will win, but whoever wins here will advance, and they have the potential to keep advancing until, maybe they beat Faker.
Maybe that would be pretty cool. The honor of being able to compete against some of the top names in esports right now is definitely something you'd want to look forward to. I'm kind of jealous, actually, of all the players that are there at All-Star right now, because like we're literally talking fan favorites right now coming together. And, we'll see what happens. We have 4 days of pure action, and we're all going to bring it to you live here from the Garena stream. Of course, if you guys want to tune in, be sure to share this, whether you're watching from Facebook or maybe you're also watching us on YouTube. That is gaming.youtube.com/user/pagegarena/live.
Yes, because the English broadcast, which you are watching right now, will be handled by us, Garena Philippines.
Quite the honor right there. And of course, for those of you that wish to watch this in the different language, we have all the different regions broadcasting in their respective main dialects, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, you have a lot of variety right there. Of course, we'll be bringing it all to live here in the English broadcast. So, G10, do you have any particular favorites going into the All-Star?
Well, we are from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And we are pretty close with our, with our players. So, you know where my money's at.
Yeah, I guess so. But
what about you? You've seen more of the international scene.
Yeah, LICC was just last weekend, and boy, were those some intense games. We got to bond with all these regions here right now. So for me, it's kind of harder because I've met all these different regions. They're all amazing people. So definitely rooting for the Philippines, but I'd say perhaps I'd like to see some of my homies from Malaysia and Indonesia make it far as well. So
Alright.
shout out, of course, to all the other regions that are watching us right now on the English broadcast of today's Garena All-Star Championship. Something to look
Yes.
forward to.
Definitely, definitely. And today we have game 1 versus Vietnam and Malaysia. Vietnam was, they were the champion of the GPL.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So from there, we know that they have a strong team, in Saigon Jokers. But right now, there are different players from different teams. How do you think that will mesh with with Vietnam? How will that result? How will that affect them in game?
Well, as a coach, that's one of the things when you look for when you're forming a team. You want to make sure that all your players synergize, they're synergized rather, and you want to make sure that they all mesh together, the collaboration is there. So it's kind of interesting how, these votes, these are all fan votes. So it all comes down to who the fans want to see represent their region here in the Garena All-Star Championship. So I guess it could go both ways. It could either be the perfect collaboration between players coming together, or it could just kind of go 50-50 and crash and burn. We'll see how it goes.
Yes,
Hopefully it
well-
doesn't go the other way. Hopefully all the teams just manage to come together.
Yeah, well, they have had practice
Definitely.
during the past, the few weeks. And we should mention that there are 6 regions that will be competing. Those are Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand.
And Malaysia.
I did say Malaysia.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, I kind of lost track. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we
But
go.
yeah, of course, by the way, we did mention practices. Ladies and gents, just a little bit of a reminder. We are going to be playing on the 6.21 patch, meaning
Oh,
this
yeah.
is not yet the preseason. This is going to be right before all chaos ensues with the Assassins patch. So right
Yeah.
before that, we're not quite there yet.
Right after the Nidalee nerf,
Yes.
which
there
is where we
go.
are.
So none of the Talon, Katarina, none of those heavy reworks yet.
Yeah.
So
And actually, this preseason, it's anything goes because there's no meta.
yeah.
Or it's building. The meta is still building.
Things are pretty crazy, you
Yeah,
know.
but we won't be seeing that.
Yeah, not just yet, ladies and gents. Hold on tight. Maybe
In
within the
season
next
7.
few months, but not for this particular event, right?
Yeah.
here. That would be
Alright.
pretty crazy, actually, if it were the preseason patch. Because, like, even I, as a coach, I'm still trying to figure things out, and to be thrown in right away, if that were the patch, that would be absolutely insane. If I were the player,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? There's just so much information I need to try to compress
Yeah.
within the short amount of time that we have. But luckily, it's not the case.
Yeah,
So-
if you remember the preseason of Season 5, you have pro players, dying to jungle camps. And I've seen on stream pro players doing the same this season, specifically to the Raptor camp.
Oh yes, there
Yeah.
we go.
So if the jungle is crazy right now, the champions are a bit crazy with the Assassins, and the new Keystone Courage of the Colossus
There
is
we
out.
go, Yes.
It's very strong to replace Strength of the Ages, maybe even OP, but we won't be seeing that. You should stay tuned in our in the next few months of our pro games.
Yes, definitely. And of course, I guess we're regardless of you're rooting for. Let's give a little bit of a quick rundown of from which series each region comes from. Because, like, for example, in the Philippines, we have the
Pro
Garena
Gaming
Pro
Series.
Gaming Series.
Yes.
For Vietnam, we have the Vietnam Champion Series A. There we go. So
Yeah,
there's,
because
like,
they have 2, right?
Yeah, they have 2 exactly. So they come from A. And of course, for Thailand, we have the Thailand Pro League. And for Singapore and Malaysia, we have the Legend Circuit. That's a pretty cool name. Lots of the Legend Circuit. So there we go.
Circuit.
And here's an even cooler name. So for Indonesia, we have the LOL Garuda Series.
Garuda Series.
So those are
Oh.
pretty cool names,
Yeah. Isn't Garuda some like eagle or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of, never mind though. But yeah, that's kind of what I remember.
I know what
Yeah.
you're thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on stream. But anyways, of course, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to share on social media who you guys are rooting for. We'll hopefully take it all. Maybe if you have some favorite players that you're rooting for, be sure to share that as well on the
Yeah.
stream, whether
Let
you're
'em know.
watching. Yeah, let us know on whether you're watching from YouTube or from our Facebook broadcast. So a lot of options for wherever you guys want to watch and interact with your what do you call that?
Co-viewers?
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Saved me right there.
No problem.
So,
All right.
yeah.
We will be starting in a few minutes, but for now, there is a couple of things that I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
The Arctic. The one of the things is the votation process.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So as we know, every player of every team in the All Stars were individually voted by position. You
There
know,
we go.
to form the team that they are currently competing with. So what do you think are the factors during the votation that could lead to them being picked?
Well, based on what I saw, because like I've reviewed some of the regions, and for me, from what I noticed, it comes down to two things. Number one, who they voted for could be considered the strongest, like if there's a power ranking for a role, they would be the top player. Like for example, for other regions, it would be the strongest, and the other factor would be a longtime fan favorite. But ladies and
Alright.
gents, hold your horses as we go into the pick and ban phase between our first game for today. That is going to be the VCSA Vietnam versus TLC Malaysia.
Yes, we do have Syndra and Rise banned on Vietnam's side already, while Chase has been banned on the side of Malaysia. These are very, very powerful champions in this meta.
Yes, indeed. Syndra, just totally OP here in the 6.21 patch. Probably one of the most banned for 6.21. The Rise, with that ult is absolutely crazy.
course.
For these crazy plays with these crazy flanks. And for the Jace and the Cassiopeia as well. Jace, he has seen some pretty...
I think he's pretty strong.
Yeah, exactly. You have the poke, and you could also go into the hammer stance where you can just go all out into those clashes.
Yes.
And let's
Ooh,
see.
Aurelion Sol banned.
So there we go. Guessing that could be a target ban. I mean, the Jace, the Cassiopeia, the Aurelion Sol. Although the Jace we see more
Top lane, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, the Cassiopeia and Aurelion Sol being banned down by Optimus here from the Vietnam team. And the final ban for the blue side would be the as well.
Yeah.
Or Cassiopeia.
We see a Lee Sin insta-locked here for Vietnam. Looks like their jungler wants to go for some very, very, those insect plays.
Yes, exactly. We're going to be seeing quite the mechanics here from Levi here of the Vietnam team. And for the side of Malaysia, we see Maokai being hovered.
Or not.
Or not. There we go. Oh, there we go.
That's a Jin and a Zac locked in. Two very strong champions. Jin actually being one of the highest damage AD carries at this moment.
Yes, no surprise there that the Jin being locked in. And of course, the Zac, I think he kind of I wouldn't say fell off, but he wasn't as prominent as before, but still a fairly solid pick. We have seen some
definitely.
teams really make the most out of it. He has some strong gank potential in the early game, and it's just, he goes, let's party during those clashes once he hits that ult. And for the side of Vietnam, we see a
Karma
Varus.
locked in and
Whoa!
a Varus. Wow, so that'll be Varus mid lane with Karma support, because Varus doesn't actually do much in the AD carry spot, right?
Exactly. Varus for me is kind of like the pseudo Jace. They were kind of saying way back that since Jace was nerfed back then, the go-to character was Varus, with the armor penetration. So since then, he wasn't as prominent, but I guess we will be seeing him here in the Garena All-Star Championship right there. And the Karma, all around a very great pick, I must say.
Yes, a flex pick also, because some people go Karma top lane,
Yes.
like our beloved Canon.
There we go. And
Yes.
yeah, for Vietnam, we're seeing some quite the hefty flex picks so far for their second drafting phase. And for the side of Malaysia, Zyra being locked in right there. Zyra had a very strong showing at Worlds this year.
Zyra definitely one of the most annoying supports to lane against.
Yes, and there we go. A Victor being locked in as well. Still all around a very good mid laner. We still see him quite relevant in this patch, and there we go. So for the side of Vietnam, still figuring out. I would actually love to see if they do lock in that Orianna. Orianna is another one of those champions that benefits from the later patches right here, along with the Jace. So
that would make me curious if they're actually gonna run Varus AD carry.
exactly. Now that you mention it,
because if they lock in Orianna, that would be mid lane Orianna, and then that would make Karma a support, and then Varus would be the AD carry. That's interesting because it's not the role that he shines in per se during the last couple seasons.
yes, indeed.
But yeah, we'll see, because Ori has been locked in. She will be the mid laner. Kennen being hovered here for the top lane.
And yes, that is
There we
going to be
go.
locked in. So This is very
Ooh.
reminiscent of somewhat of Worlds, I'd say, minus the Varus pick, I'd say, because Varus, you don't really see him that much. But then
Yeah.
again, I'm
These are
looking
very
at
meta
the
picks.
roster here. Celebrity being on the All-Star team for Vietnam, and we do know Celebrity was quite the strong player during
Yeah,
the GPL. So I'm
definitely.
actually not surprised to see him in the All-Star because for me, he's one of the strongest, if not the strongest AD carry from the Garena region right there.
Wasn't that actually proved when Saigon Jokers won the GPL?
Exactly.
Exactly. See, he is a celebrity.
Yes, a celebrity in his own right there. Pun intended.
Yeah.
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 So we're still waiting for that last pick from Malaysia here. So far, from what I'm seeing here, Vietnam, quite the balance here. We have
Yeah.
some fairly decent front lines in the Kennen, in the Lee Sin, and of course, we have the perfect interaction from Oriana Young. She could easily put her ball onto the
Lee
Kennen
Sin?
or the Lee Sin when they initiate. And there we go. Is that going to be the Echo lock?
Yes, that'll be the Echo top lane. What I'm actually looking at Vietnam's comp right now is I'm thinking that they have a very specific combo that they practice.
Yes.
Because with the Oriana, the Lee Sin, the Kennen, the Varus, the Karma, you have all the tools to get the other team into one tight spot, have Varus ult them, Oriana, with the Ori ult and the Lee Sin kick, you can then just combo with a huge Kennen ultimate.
Exactly, and especially if you're going to look at the composition of Malaysia, they have the Victor, they have the Jin, they have the Zyra. These are people that you'd... Okay.
They're not very mobile. Yeah, except for Echo and Zach. But we will be watching a video right now about Vietnam's team.
Tình huống của anh Bộ, anh ta đang tràn vào quánh RZ để Hành Danh đâu vẫn đang bơi và có người đồng đội chúng ta bơi chung là Hành Danh. Celeb đang đứng yên vào và cố gắng lao vào, Lôi đã phải nằm xuống và Celeb vẫn đang bắn được. Chúng ta đang thấy bắn bóng đã từng người. Điều này sẽ đồng ý. Chói chẳng vai chạm với cổ kia, có một đi xuất hiện đã đổ thành công là quá nhiều sát thương khiến người chẳng lên đi. Anh ta sẽ không phải làm sao cả bởi anh tốc tiến ngược lại, anh tấn Steamers tới nhưng QTV giật ngược lại rất tốt, chỉ làm choáng được tia mà thôi. B1 đã phải nằm xuống nhưng QTV cũng không còn trên bản đồ. Double kill xạ thủ hoàn thành, tốc biến qua thì BLTM đứng đợi sẵn tia ngã gục luôn. Colombia ở phía sau và nối dây thành công một đầu vẽ luôn khiến cho chiều cuối của Celebrity là một tỷ sát thương lần đầu của người chơi hỗ trợ và đó là double kill. Tích ở phía trên BLTM phía dưới. An Quang từ bên gặp quyền. Một chiều cuối rất hay của Tăng Sango nhưng Baron vẫn đang trong tầm tranh chấp nhưng nó hốt về An Quang của team mình. Họ quá xuất sắc Tăng Sango. Và BLTM được yên sức và DHG tôi đã không thể cản phá, chỉ chúng vào bình tĩnh như thế là quá đủ và Nét có điểm là một. Nét đang bằng lên tấn công KTV nhưng mình KTV thổi đi luôn, cú đầu lên mạng điểm số BLTM.
All right.
Oh, that was pretty intense right there.
That was a pretty awesome video. Did you see that, the Vietnam power pose? They're just
Yeah.
holding their wrist like that. Is that to contain their unnatural talent?
Hashtag team goals right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely way to get hyped for our first game right there between Vietnam and Malaysia. But there we go. We are going to be heading into the Rift.
All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift, everybody. You are watching Game 1 of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. We will be watching the match versus the Vietnam Championship Series from Vietnam and the Legends Circuit Malaysia from Malaysia. All right, we are in the Rift right now. On the blue side, we have Vietnam, Team Vietnam with QTV as Kennen in the top lane, Levi as Lee Sin in the jungle, Optimus as Oriana, the Autobot in the mid lane, and Celebrity as Varus in the AD carry position, and Ron OP as Karma support.
And of course, Malaysia, make some noise for your representatives from the Legend Circuit Malaysia. In the top lane, we have Shiro on the Echo. In the jungle, we have Caspiel on the Zac. In the mid lane, we have Arhedge on the Victor. And to sum up our bot lane right here, we have Jae-Young on the Jin for AD carry and Ozora Veki on the Zyra for support.
Yeah, a couple of familiar names here from the GPL, the playoffs.
Yes, exactly. And very familiar names right there. And I'm really interested to see how the interaction comes between all these players coming together. As I said, it could be a hit or miss. Hit with the beautiful collaboration, miss if the playstyles don't quite mesh between these teams right here.
Yes, definitely. And I just want to mention in the mid lane, it's the robot matchup. It's Orianna versus Victor.
There we go. I feel like Oriana's a little bit on the good side and
Safer.
Victor, yeah, the safer side. Victor is more of the evil, aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, here for the mid lane, very interesting matchup as well for Celebrity and Ron OP. You have the Varus and the Karma. Just gonna a little bit of a heavy poke right there, as well as the Jin and the Zyra. For the Jin and the Zyra just needs
Yeah.
to get some kind of poke onto there, hopefully with the Grasping Thorns, and could be
It's-
followed up by the Jin for that poke. But both equally decent pokes for the bot lane right here from Vietnam and Malaysia.
Yeah, I think it's actually Vietnam that has the upper lead in the poke battle in the bot lane because of the piercing arrows that Celebrity can use, coupled with Karma's Q. That does a lot of damage, especially at earlier levels.
Exactly, and this is Celebrity we're talking about here, one of the hottest AD carries here in the Garena All-Star Championship. Talking about mechanics right here, ladies and gents. And here in the top lane as well, Kennen versus an Echo, both AP. Kennen, a bit okay, has a little bit of the poke right there, while Echo, I feel, also fairly decent, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I'd say we have fairly interesting matchups here for all of the lanes. It all comes down to how each side plays it out as far as the early going into the mid game.
Yes.
And
What I'm actually looking at here is the junglers. Both
Mhm.
teams picked resourceless junglers, meaning that they don't have mana, so that they can give their blue buff over to the mid laners as early as they can. If you see here, Levi has actually not done his blue buff so that he can transfer it over to Orianna when she's ready. So the same goes for Caspiel right here, and that's a very interesting tactic that it kind of shunned during Worlds, where you'd see Rek'Sai's and Zax's just giving their first buff over to their mid laners.
exactly. And Lee Sin, I'm actually probably not super surprised that Lee Sin is something that we see in these recent patches, because Lee Sin for me is someone that really needs to snowball a bit in order to be effective. So there's that risk if that you don't really go all powerful on that Lee Sin early game, just
Yeah.
kind of loses relevance. And like the only thing that you'd probably be able to contribute is picking off people into your team, but we'll see how this goes.
What I'm more surprised by is that Malaysia didn't have their blue buff warded, knowing full well that it's a Lee Sin who can easily, just queue over walls. The only ward they had was down by the river almost, so that delayed Caspiel's counter steal of Vietnam's blue buff. And that will make for a battle right here in the jungle, where mid laners are assisting. But we're still stuck here in the bot lane, so we will. There we go.
Whoa,
First
there we
blood.
go.
First blood going onto Optimus.
Caspiel.
Onto Caspiel for Optimus. My bad. Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
So Caspiel, a little bit into deep early on, was hoping to take advantage of maybe trying to steal something or interrupt, but
Yeah.
in the end, he was the one that got outsmarted right there
Yeah,
by
well-
Optimus and Levi.
You saw Levi taking the red buff. Malaysia saw that late, and only because Levi dragged it down towards the river, and then Caspiel was late on the counter jungle.
Yes, and of course, Vision very well played there by Vietnam, and ooh, here we go again. Levi and Caspiel spotting out each other.
It's a jungler battle right there.
Yes.
And the good thing about that fight was that the blue buff was given over to Optimus, because he killed Caspiel, and now he has blue buff for a bit of a longer time due to it being a buff transfer,
Yes, that's something that you do not want to happen when
especially in the early game.
exactly. And this is an Oriana that we're talking about, so they just pretty much gave Optimus all the more poke potential right there
Yeah, see?
with that ball.
If you see right now, we just panned over to our hedge, almost getting taken out by Optimus, just to command moves and dissonance.
A very simple but straightforward combo right there from Optimus, just as you'd expect from an Oriana. So our hedge, I feel, is gonna need to kind of wait for the level 6, possibly wait for ganks from Caspiel as well, because Optimus clearly coming off a little bit better here with that blue buff as well as the EXP advantage in comparison to our hedge on that Victor right there.
Yes, and with a 12 minion advantage coming out of, well, they're not really out of the laning phase yet.
Yeah.
But Optimus is level 6, which is a very big power spike for Oriana. We might be seeing some roams here, and that's that's what tilts games towards one team's favor.
Exactly, and there we go. So far, look at this. I gotta commend Celebrity here. Look at the CS difference for both AD carries. That is
Yeah.
somewhat surprising considering like we're only a few minutes into this game and 30 CS difference already.
You know what? I'm not very surprised, honestly, because like I said, Varus and Karma outpoke Jin and Zyra so hard because you just have the great shields from Karma and the Q. Meanwhile, Jin is fairly short range if you're using auto attacks to CS, and Varus and Karma can just completely zone him out from taking any CS because he'll need to risk getting poked down.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of the Karma right there. You have the perfect balance between the poke as well as the shield so that any attempts to counter poke from the Jin and the Zyra is ultimately negated from the shields the Karma brings, and that could ultimately spell a very hard early game for Jaeyoung. And
Oh,
that thought,
Shockwave
though,
dropped onto our hedge, and Optimus has to flash that. Levi and Optimus both getting caught in the Let's Bounce. And Victor's Chaos Storm will not take either of them down, but all players in the mid lane will be going very low. Caspiel almost getting taken down again.
a little bit too close for comfort right there, but both sides able to escape from that with no kill being taken off from the Vietnam or
Yeah.
Malaysian team right there.
Optimus just insta-flashed the minute he saw that the shadow of Zac just came in.
Exactly, and
That
there
was
we go.
great predictions.
Summoner spells being burned as well from that clash. Although Levi, oh wait, no, actually Levi's flash is almost up right here. So
Yeah.
I'd say as far as the trade, perhaps Vietnam came off a little bit more prominent right there, just because of the summoner spells exhausted.
Yeah, and the power of Optimus. You just saw him almost one-shot our hedge.
This ultimately could be a bit of a problem from the Malaysian team because I feel like there's such a beautiful balance from Vietnam right here. You know, you have a fairly decent front line in the form of the Kennen and the Lee Sin, and as if anything bad happens, if for some reason maybe Shiro or maybe Caspiel gets into the back line of Vietnam, they always have the Oriana shield as well as the Karma shields to help defend them from that. While Malaysia here, they don't really have as much protection. They only have to rely on their CCs to make sure that they keep the Vietnam team at bay.
Yeah, it's gonna. If Malaysia wants to win this, they want to they want to get out of laning phase as fast as possible because their bot lane is not having a good time. You see the Jin and Zyra just. Oh, it's actually an invade from Optimus. Easy blue buff steal.
That is
And
not gonna be
yeah.
pretty for our hedge right there in the
that
mid lane.
that just came off of the first blue buff steal that Levi did.
Oh, but there we go.
at least this time, Caspiel is on point with the counter jungle.
Very good response right there from Team Malaysia. And there we go, still 1-0 on our scoreboard. Haven't seen as much action just yet. But then again, there's a pretty definite lead going on.
That's a
I'd
pretty
say.
big gold lead because
Exactly.
mainly because of the bot lane, I'd say.
Oh!
Oh, but here QTV gets ganked, pops his ultimate. Let's bounce going down. Chrono break. And he will get smacked by Echo one last time for the kill. That was a pretty good gank. QTV knew that Zac was around the top lane, yet he didn't back, even though he was getting a little poke down, just a bit. But he wasn't given that much assistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then again, I'd say very good way of trying to balance things out for the Malaysian team. But I feel like if they really want to try to get back into this game to really set things back on an even terrain, they'd have to really try to find a way to help Jaeyoung and Azara Vecchi here on the bot lane, because so far Celebrity just crushing it as far as VCSA. And there we go, a dragon being
Free
taken.
Mountain Dragon.
Exactly, and there we go.
Yes, that was incredibly free. I'm not sure Malaysia even knew it was going on because they had zero ward coverage in that area thanks to the amazing presence by Celebrity and Ron OP in the bot lane.
So I guess, we're seeing trades coming back and forth. We saw blue buffs being traded and then a kill off in the top lane and then a dragon being taken. So it's just back and forth, trying to, get a trade off right there.
The only bad thing I could see is that Optimus was actually the one who got the... Oh, but actually Celebrity getting caught. Ron OP will have to tank it. He was one shot away from death, but so is Azora Vecchi. Ignite will take down and will not kill him, but the curtains call, sniper shots, almost getting Celebrity there if Ron OP is kind of, just mispositioned a little bit. That was pretty close.
I love the patience coming from Celebrity and Ron OP right there. They still had that final shot coming from Jin, and they just kind of waited for it to come up before, okay, it's safe to potentially recall or get a little bit of farm.
Yeah.
So very well played there.
Well played. I'm thinking Ron is actually OP, but two flashes down. Celebrity gonna get... Oh my god, Ron OP is actually gonna get out thanks to the shield, but Shiro... Was he looking for a dive? No, teleport coming in from QTV here. Jaeyoung in a very tight spot. He will not be walking out of that alive. Easy
oh my
kill
goodness.
for QTV.
Jaeyoung overstaying his welcome just a little bit.
Definitely.
Should have disengaged once they saw the teleport coming up, but was still just kind of lingering right there.
And Shiro just kind of hightailed it out of there.
Exactly, and 2-1 now on our scoreboard in favor of the Vietnam team. Again, that is not what they really want to happen, especially knowing that Jaeyoung is kind of behind on the CS.
Oh,
and
Optimus is going
go.
pretty hard, but he sidesteps the... Oh, double shockwave! And our hedge is very low, will be taken down. Optimus one kill in a 1v2, and he has taken down Zach's passive. Will it be a double kill? That's the double kill for Optimus in the mid lane. 1v2 situation and coming out on top.
My goodness, Optimus there, 1v2 played very beautifully and was able to come up on top.
Prime.
4-1 on our scoreboard now, not looking quite well for the Malaysian team, but hopefully we could be seeing some kind of comeback. As far as I can see, they could make a comeback potentially through the clashes later on, but it all depends on how they play it out. Because so far, Vietnam, I'm seeing playing it very smart with the composition that they have, and Malaysia not really able to maximize the composition that they have during the early phase. So we're gonna see how this goes for them going on to the mid game.
Yeah, if this was Transformers, Optimus will be Optimus Prime. Oriana and Megatron would be our hedge because Victor. Yeah. And right now the Autobots are winning.
There we go. I was actually thinking if I was gonna go there, but since you went there,
I'm going there.
There we go. So there we go. 20. Look at this.
There's just skirmishes left and right here. QTV popping ultimate to get... Wow, that was actually great Dragon's Rage, aiming him out of the parallel convergence. That was pretty slick.
Exactly, and I'm really loving the momentum coming here from the Vietnamese team, because
they just don't let up.
Exactly, and this is the same thing that we've seen during the DPL. Once they've established some kind of lead, they slowly build up on it, and they just continue to crush it every single time. Malaysia,
I don't think
really
they're slowly building it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, but their Celebrity bursted down instantly. Jaeyoung getting that kill. Wow, that was a lot of damage.
Finally, we're seeing a little bit of counterplay coming. I'm not exactly counterplay, but we're finally seeing some plays being made by Malaysia here, because that's what they should be doing, considering the momentum that's picking up from the Vietnamese team here right now. 5-2.
Yeah, Vietnam still has the momentum, even though that shockwave, that combo was missed because of the flash. They still have momentum because while that was going on in the bot lane, QTV and Levi were taking first tower in the top lane.
Yes, and a mid tower being taken down really opens up the map for the Vietnam team right here. Yeah. And we're gonna see how this goes for them if they can keep up the momentum. And knowing Vietnam, I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yes, and they're already deep inside Malaysia's jungle. Wow, that's actually a pretty good place to be at this early in the game. 15 minutes already controlling your opponent's jungle. That's pressure.
I'm really hoping that we continue to see the same thing from Malaysia, because I feel like as far as what they could potentially be doing early right now, because Vietnam is clearly in the lead, so they need to find some way to kind of balance things out. And so far, that's one of the things that they could do, as we've seen earlier. Try to pick off some isolated targets like Celebrity was right there. Look at the damage.
Azora Vecchi almost one shot by Optimus, not even using Shockwave because but he does get tagged by that captive audience.
That's the danger when you're running a Zyra. Sure, Zyra has some pretty excellent poke, some decent damage coming from her skills, as well as decent combo from the CC that she has.
Yeah.
But the problem is when she's caught out, she's just so easy to take down. And
She's so squishy.
knowing that Vietnam has
One would
this
say
lead,
like
they
a
could
flower.
just really take Azora Vecchi down in just like one snap right there.
Yeah. Zyra is very, very delicate, very squishy.
Yes,
Some would
very-
say like a flower.
There we go. There we go. That's the perfect association for Zyra right
Exactly.
there. So look at this goal difference right now. Now 6,000.
Oh,
Ooh,
Caspiel coming in. Let's bounce flash. Oh, but Azora Vecchi, like you said, almost getting taken down. The heal will save her life, and Levi will go down to Jae Young. The curtain skull has been dropped. Will it be curtains for Vietnam, as that is a 3-4-0 in favor of Malaysia, and Dragon is up. They will be going for that.
Oh my goodness, I'm not sure if Vietnam, they were a little bit too deep into there, because Optimus
deep.
was in the mid lane, and then QTV was also in the top lane, and there was just sure, probably we could get a response from the cannon, but Malaysia was just one step ahead of them right there, and a 5-man collapse onto 3 of their members really spelled well for the Malaysian team right there. 6-5 on our scoreboard, well played by Team Malaysia.
Yeah, it was 5-5, but then Optimus got a solo kill onto our hedge just because Oriana. The skill being displayed here is just off the charts.
Yes, and that's the beautiful thing about, I've got to commend Malaysia, because as I was saying earlier, in order to get back into this game, they need to find some sort of pick-off where they could overwhelm Team Vietnam, and that's exactly what happened. A 3-4-5, there was just no way.
3-4-0.
Oh, 3-4-0 actually. Rather 3 versus 5, going
There you
into
go.
a 3-4-0. So very well played by Malaysia right there. And obviously they're just in it to win it. They're just not letting that lead that Vietnam had get to them.
Yeah, but it's still a pretty significant lead, especially at this point in the game. That's 4,500 gold in the lead. Vietnam. Oh, that's a double shockwave, almost bursting both of them down. Ron OP taking down Azora Vecchi with the following Q, and there is QTV trying to get his ultimate off onto anybody, but no. Caspiel is getting taken very low. Will he go down here? And he is in blob form. Will any teleports come out? No, Shiro does not have his teleport. Will go down to Celebrity. The first kill for Varus, and Arhez just almost getting styled on by Levi. Has to flash. Will he actually get this? Late on the ward hop, misses the Q, and Arhez will live. Wow, that Gravitron surge was
That was excellent.
that was on point. Wow,
Oh gosh.
that was so good. It actually canceled the damage from the resonating strike second part.
Exactly. Oh my god, that was quite the clutch move right there
That
from Arhed.
was.
Surviving just by the...
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think
gosh.
Levi underestimated his cooldowns there because he tried to put the ward before he actually had W up. So he wasn't able to ward jump instantly. Then he just missed the Q, and then Arhedge lived to fight another day.
Exactly right there. And here we go, the Malaysian team trying to defend this bot lane turret right here. But of course,
can't
within
even
the
defend their
comforts,
jungle.
almost everybody from Vietnam is here with the exception of Cannon and Optimus there. Trying to get a little bit of farm from the Malaysian team's jungle right here. And yes, that is definitely going to help the cause. Roughly almost a 7... No, actually... Yeah, between a 6,000 to 7,000 gold.
We'll
here
say
in favor of Vietnam.
6,500.
Yeah, there we go. So 8-5 still on our scoreboard. We are now nearing the 20-minute mark, and Vietnam still keeping up the momentum here. But Malaysia displaying
Oh
signs
my
of
God.
fight. They're really fighting for their life right here, and it's showing beautifully so far based on the plays that they have been making. But look at the
Optimus.
wars.
Oh,
that thought.
that's a play made by Caspiel. Elastic slingshot, and let's bounce. Zora Vecchi taking down Ron OP, but he will go down to Celebrity. Levi gonna not take that Q, not gonna have Lee Sin Syndrome. 1-for-1 support for support in the mid lane.
Yes, there we go. And just from the side of Vietnam here, they really have... Optimus is just looking scary right now on this Oriana.
He is.
4-0 and 3.
Oh,
Whoa, hold
that's
that
another
thought.
shockwave. He's just using those shockwaves left and right whenever it's off cooldown. Wow,
Oh
that,
my goodness.
and you saw how much that chunked Caspiel, but Curtain Call, no mana, no flash, no ghost. Optimus should go down here, but Levi, maybe for the save, tanks the captive audience. Oh, he will go down to our hedge. And now it is just Levi all alone. Shiro getting taken very low, but he will just ward hop out of there.
That would be the complication right there as far as Vietnam. You know, without the maximum capacity of maximizing the shields that they have from the Karma, from the Oriana, from Levi right there.
Yeah.
You know, small, even though it's a small shield, but you know, without those, it gives Malaysia a little bit of a better chance to maximize what damage output that they have from the Victor, from the Jin, basically for everybody here on this roster.
Yeah, that was actually also a misplay on Optimus's part because he was low on mana, had no summoners, and tried to follow up where he already burned Caspiel's flash. That
So-
was that was a kind of a big mistake, and he ended up paying for it with his life.
Yes, and you know, Malaysia just capitalizing on these small mistakes being made by Vietnam. So far, from what I'm seeing, like most of the kills that Malaysia has gotten so far is from these evident mistakes from the side of Vietnam. While Vietnam, you know, trying really excellent plays from the kills that we were seeing so far. So for Malaysia, I feel like they should be continuing to do this, just capitalizing on what mistakes Vietnam is making and try to build a slow comeback from there. Although it's still a 5,000 gold difference, still a
Yes.
significant lead for Vietnam side right here. So we'll see if Vietnam is going to continue to make these, I'd say, very minute and avoidable mistakes that Malaysia is capitalizing on,
Yeah.
or if they're going to try to get back their momentum in this game right here.
Yes, I'd also like to mention the item leads that Vietnam has. We have from most of the players of Vietnam, they have at least an item, a half item lead. But let's see, we have Celebrity here who has a huge lead on Jaeyoung because he does have Serrated Dirk, Hex Drinker, Yomu's, and Tear of the Goddess with boots, while Jaeyoung only has boots, Yomu's, and a Serrated Dirk. That's a pretty big difference. Oh, but here comes Caspiel for the Let's Bounce play, and Celebrity had to flash out to not die. Oh, the counter play coming in here maybe, but no, that'll just be Malaysia retreating back, and not much really happening there other than blowing a flash. But that's still a good summoner spell for burned because Celebrity is on a very immobile champion.
Yes. And since we're talking about summoners right here, same for our hedge right here, you know, both summoners down, making him a very immobile Victor. Although, I gotta say that even though despite our hedge having that disadvantage of having immobility, at the same time, you know, I feel like the composition overall kind of helps make up for that due to
Ooh,
the...
Optimus.
well, that thought right there, Optimus spotting out Caspiel.
You saw how he was just camping in that one bush, and now he's just gonna harass Caspiel when he tries to remove the ward. That's actually very annoying. And
Oh.
Shockwave a second too late.
Exactly, right there. And you know, that just shows how confident Vietnam is roaming throughout this map. Because like as far as towers right here, they actually still have just one tower being taken down from their side, and then 4 towers taken down from the Malaysian side. So you know, it's I'm actually not surprised that Vietnam has the confidence to just kind of dominate this map right here. Because like the tower advantage in itself just shows how prominent Vietnam is on this map right now versus the Malaysian team, and I feel like Malaysia really needs to start picking it up, because all I'm seeing right so far is this beautiful momentum coming from Vietnam, while Malaysia just kind of getting these small pickouts from the mistakes that Vietnam is making, but no,
I can see that.
no game changer so far from the Malaysian team.
Yeah, definitely. And not to mention that Optimus's item lead is humongous. He is a whole 1.5 items ahead of our hedge.
Exactly, Autobots represent right there.
That's right, Autobots rolling out right here. If you see the vision they had all inside of Malaysia's jungle before Malaysia went and cleared that up, they had almost the entire thing lit up.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what you expect of the Vietnam team. You know, this is the same prowess that they have shown in the GPL, and it's actually interesting how, you know, despite what I've been saying that there could be a potential mismatch between players because of playstyle, so far what I'm seeing is a beautiful collaboration coming here from the Vietnamese team.
Yeah. Except for Optimus, you know, just going off on his own on solo missions,
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
camp in a bush, trying to catch someone out. Oh, but that's Caspiel trying to get onto Celebrity because he is very popular. Teleport coming in by Shiro. Curtain's Call dropped one shot off, but not gonna get anything. All 5 members of Malaysia are in the top lane. QTV got caught out, but he will not die. top laner and mid laner low here for Vietnam, but that's just a little, a little 5v5 skirmish. Oh, Shockwave actually landing Jae Young, stepping too far forward there, gonna get taken down by Levi with that resonating strike.
That was a very awkward position.
That was very
Especially
awkward for an AD carry.
For especially a Jin, no mobility whatsoever.
Oh,
and to front
red
line
fight.
like that.
Levi has the flash out, W in onto a ward, but he actually, oh no, he didn't get the red buff.
Yes, and will he be trying to get this Baron?
I mean, it's not warded. They are, Malaysia's one member down. QTV is on the way, but they haven't spotted out, looks like.
So there we go. They will just be recalling from that. Mission abort from Vietnam right there. 10 and 7 on our scoreboard with a 6,000 gold, almost 6,000 gold difference in favor of the Vietnamese team. Malaysia needing, as I've been saying, they need to find these really big plays to turn things around because Vietnam slowly building up on this momentum that they have.
Yeah, but Vietnam, the thing about Vietnam right now is they're kind of stagnating.
Right.
They've been at this amount of gold lead for a while now, and they haven't really done much after the first, the early big plays. They haven't gone for Baron yet, well, because it's still early, but we've seen success from a wildcard team in Worlds doing, during sneaking early Barons, but
Right.
in this setting, Vietnam just feels like they're floundering around because they can't really do much at this point, which obviously is wrong because they can do a lot to Malaysia with their leads right now. But
This is a very good Baron being taken
Yeah.
here. And there we go.
as I mentioned it, Baron taken.
So
There we
yeah,
go.
they knew that Shiro, having just recalled and was in that bot lane right there, and obviously Shiro's teleport down. So even though it could have been potentially a 4v5, as far as the numbers game, Vietnam was right on top right there in the Baron,
Yeah.
and that was just a very easy take for them.
Yeah, I think a big factor towards Vietnam's stagnation, right before what I was talking about, is Caspiel, because it is because of Caspiel that Malaysia's plays actually happen.
Right, exactly. And I feel like that's what could potentially be their turnaround. Caspiel has to make something big out of the Zac that he has. As I've said, Zac has some amazing initiation and could just just let hell loose during these clashes as soon as he gets in. But it's all about trying to find that right play and proper follow-up from the Malaysian team. Because so far what I have seen is Caspiel making these beautiful
And
plays.
here
but
is
not- There we go.
Caspiel missing the elastic slingshot onto Celebrity. Will Let's Bounce hit nobody and get taken down to like 20%.
Oh my goodness, this Baron is going to be very...
It's very annoying for Malaysia right now because the siege in the top lane. Ooh, Curtain's Call. They're forced to Curtain's Call just to thin out the wave maybe, but Levi is doing a good job of blocking all of those.
Not really that much damage being dealt with.
Not
That
at
is
all.
a Baron.
Oh, that's a flash
Whoa.
shockwave. Arhedge flash, but he still gets taken down by Levi.
Oh my goodness,
That was
11 and 7.
beautiful.
Yeah, exactly, that was beautiful. Beautiful pick off from one of the major damage dealers from the side of Malaysia here, and they could be getting this this turret as well. Ooh.
Did you see that poke onto Jaeyoung by Celebrity?
This is just the beauty of Vietnam, they're just really playing this patiently, As far as having this type of composition, patience is really key right here, just get the proper pokes, get as much damage as you can, but
And
here
there's
comes Caspiel.
Caspiel. No, they're just gonna step out of that one. Shiro going deep though. Those are shields onto Optimus. He will go down to the support. Ron OP.
That is the beauty when you have a Karma right there. The shield could be used either way. If you want to go hard on engage or just trying to disengage, step a little bit back from getting hit by that elastic slingshot from Caspiel right there, as demonstrated.
You have 3 shields right there to protect one person on Vietnam. And that's insane. You saw that's just insane, honestly.
Exactly, and that could be very frustrating for Malaysia as well, because sure they have some pretty good damage coming from Arhedge and Jaeyoung right here, as well as some decent damage as well from Shiro and Ozaraveki at some points. But then again, it kind of falls into irrelevance because of just the utility of the shields coming from the Orianna, coming in from Lee Sin, and especially coming in from Ron OP right there on the Karma.
Yeah.
It's just so hard for Malaysia to make a comeback, knowing that there's all these factors that kind of go against them, as you know, just from the damage that they dealt being negated from
Yep.
those shields.
And that's a free Drake going down for Vietnam once again. I think that's their third free Drake of the game.
And this is the scary part, 10,000 gold lead in favor of the Vietnamese team.
Yes, that was a great Baron play. That just swung the gold lead so much in their favor, and Baron's still active.
At this point, I feel like if Malaysia really wants to make a comeback,
They are going to go to bot lane, where Optimus has been caught out
Whoa.
by Caspiel, but Levi is there to protect. Caspiel gonna go very low. Oh, Jaeyoung actually sniping out Optimus Prime. Gonna get taken down, but QTV with a huge slicing maelstrom, just slicing, cleaving into their team, will take down 2 with the help of Levi. Shiro and Zoroveki are taken out of the fight. That's a 1 for 2. Wow, that was a big play.
that was
from-
pretty
from
explosive. And
him.
take note, that was a fight under the tower, and still
Yeah.
Vietnam coming off due to that huge gold lead that they have in favor of the Malaysian team right here.
Yeah, Optimus was actually taken down before he was able to do anything. His shockwave was down, and you know he just couldn't do anything, even though he was being shielded and stuff, because he just got sniped by Jaeyoung, the
Exactly.
Malaysian sniper.
So yeah, small. I guess I wouldn't say it's not much of a significance, but I would say that it kind of stalls the game for Malaysia to try to find a way to get back their momentum. I wouldn't even say momentum, just plainly try to find a comeback into this game in general.
Yeah, that was hard because that was still a 1v2 where they got the first kill at the start of the fight.
At this point, I don't know how long Malaysia can prolong this game because there's just such a strong, definite lead right
Whoa.
here. And oh,
Celebrity with a blue steel.
a little bit more insult to injury right there coming from Celebrity of the Vietnam team.
Yeah, not even letting Casper get any farm at all. This is just very well executed by Vietnam.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, Malaysia, I don't know, you know, it's just, as I've been saying, in order to, the small victories that they've had are more pickoffs. And from what I'm seeing, it's a bit harder knowing that Vietnam, they have all the makings to just group together and heavy push all these turrets. Although Baron buff is down for them already. So maybe, just maybe Malaysia can try to get some pickoffs once again, knowing that there isn't
Yeah.
as much of heavy pushes coming in from the lane.
QTV used his Hex Deck Proto Belt. Caspiel, that could have been a big advantage if Caspiel managed to land that elastic slingshot, because no Proto Belt, it's one less escape.
This is the frustration I kind of have with the Malaysian team right now. Caspiel,
He's
he-
trying.
yeah, he's trying,
He's trying
but
so hard.
it's just that Vietnam, whenever Caspiel tries to initiate, they have all this utility to avoid the elastic slingshot that it makes
Yeah.
it hard for Caspiel to get these engages. And you know, Shiro can kind of help in getting these engages, but so far it's been
Oh.
Caspiel. I've been seeing
Missed
more of
shockwave.
Caspiel trying to make these attempts.
Yeah. Also, Caspiel just kind of dies if he tries to go in super hard. Where
Exactly.
Because Vietnam can just close in on him before his team can do anything.
Exactly, you know, there isn't a strong follow-up from Malaysia once Caspiel gets in. You know, Vietnam just kind of shreds through what supposed tankiness actually that Caspiel is supposed to have
Yeah.
on that Zac. And this just makes things so complicated for the Malaysian team to win these team fights because Vietnam just collapsing over these members quite easily. And
Yeah, so
14
much
and
pressure.
8. And not to mention now 11,000 gold lead for the Vietnamese team. Very, very tough for Team Malaysia right now.
Yeah, there's an amazing amount of pressure being exerted by Team Vietnam here, forcing Shiro to go back to defend their Nexus turrets just because the Super Minions were knocking on their doors. Oh, here, once again, Caspiel doing things, but not gonna get much. He will get, oh, 3-man Shockwave, and our hedge getting taken very low. Nobody has died yet. Levi tanking, just tanking all of the curtain call shots. That was a 4v5. QTV wasn't even anywhere near.
Oh my god! And as I was saying, look at those shields coming in. You know,
They
supposedly
barely lost any HP.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of, as I was saying again and again, the utility of having those shields on your team negates the damage coming from Jaeyoung right there. And look, it's pretty much, look at all the healthy members we still have
This
on the
ca-
side of Vietnam.
This has gotta be so annoying for Malaysia right now.
Exactly, you know,
There's nothing they can do.
they're playing it decently, but it's just the utility coming
Oh,
from these shields
except-
really disregards what plays that they're trying to make in order to come back into this game. And Vietnam, it's just so scary right now for Malaysia.
Yeah, because if they try to do something, if Caspiel tries to dive in, he just gets blown up if there's no follow-up, and it's hard for them to follow up because they're not very mobile.
And one thing I'd like to point out here, you know, what makes Vietnam so defined in their lead. They've been playing these clashes fairly better than Malaysia. I'd say that Malaysia is doing okay, but not as
Not as good.
strong as Vietnam has been coming in. And
Yeah.
just the objectives in general. Look, 3 dragons being taken from the side of Vietnam, not to mention a total of 8 turrets, which is just a huge behemoth of a lead in
8-1.
comparison to the 1 tower and 1 dragon being taken from Malaysia, which is why I'm not really surprised that Malaysia is encountering these complications, toppled by the fact that the CS lead that we saw from Celebrity earlier from Jae-Young, you know,
It's just
really
growing
put
and growing.
Jae-Young in an awkward position as far as the early game, because you know he isn't able to maximize the damage output from that Jin, knowing that Celebrity had that huge lead earlier.
Yeah, especially since if we take 15 CS, meaning into 1 kill, then that is a lot of kills that Celebrity is up on Jae-Young gold-wise. You know, and Baron being started right here by Vietnam. Oh, what was that? That was a fail elastic slingshot, or did he actually mean to go there?
That was pretty.
That
quite
looks
sure
so
what Castro
funny.
was going for.
Oh, but
a little
that
bit too
will
late.
be Baron going down for the blue team. Vietnam in a very weird spot right here. They're very spread out. This might be Malaysia's time to win the fight because Optimus has gone down. He didn't have flash to get out of that pit, but QTV killing, hunting down Jae-Young and slicing into his maelstrom. Zoraveki on the side, not able to do anything. Celebrity gonna taken down by R-Hedge. QTV in the back. He's pretty useless right now. Shiro gonna take down Ron, and that's 3 for 1. Those were the fights that Malaysia needs to take.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of. I'd say Malaysia really played it so well because they were able to catch Vietnam somewhat of in an awkward position in the
Yeah.
sense that Optimus was just so separated. From
That
the
was
team that
so awkward.
exactly, and you know, due to that isolation, Malaysia was able to topple down onto Optimus easily before going for the other members of the Vietnamese team right now. Very well
Yeah.
played by Team Malaysia. The dream is still alive here in.
Yeah, however, Malaysia is pretty low right now. They're taking this Elder Dragon. It's not going down that fast, so there is a potential for a steal from Levi. Again, there is a smite from Caspiel securing it. He does a Guardian Angel, but he will just W out. Oh, QTV proto-belting onto Zoraveki. Easy kill, but then gets shut down. There's 1 Baron on Vietnam, and it's on the jungler.
I gotta say, Malaysia had a small victory there in the Baron, but then again,
Yeah.
you have to go back to the gold rate right here. Still no significant difference. 10,000, still in Vietnam's court, I'd say, despite that beautiful clash.
Yeah, I think that was more Vietnam's fault than Malaysia's good plays because
Yeah.
they were so spread out. Granted, Malaysia was also spread out in dealing with them, but it's just Levi just left Optimus die alone in the Baron pit, and the rest of the team was just to the side, to the back. I don't even actually know what was happening throughout that whole fight because they were just so spread out. I couldn't see it.
Exactly, and it all comes down to, as I was saying, if you're going to look at the kills coming from Team Vietnam, it's more of these beautiful plays that they
Yeah.
proactively do. As opposed to Malaysia, more of the pickups that they're getting is more from the mistakes that Vietnam is making, as opposed to
Yeah.
them actually making the plays.
So it's kind of just on Vietnam's shoulders because Vietnam's skills are we did this, and Malaysia's skills are we messed up.
Exactly. So, you know, at this point, it's just Vietnam needing to. Sure, they have a significant lead. It's just that they've been making these very minute mistakes, I'd say, and they have all the
Yeah.
potential to finish.
Sometimes
this.
major
There we
mistakes,
go.
and there's a flash from Optimus to start off the fight. Capsule getting taken down, but he does have GA, I think. Oh, Sniper, American Sniper taking down Celebrity, while Optimus goes down. Autobots have been taken down by Megatron.
Finally, we're seeing. This is the
That's a
beauty of-
3 for 0.
This is what I've been waiting for Team Malaysia with the composition that they have. You know,
And they're just straight pushing it down mid.
exactly, and Jae-Young finally able to get the proper positioning on that Jin, which
Wow,
really
what?
made sure that they, oh my goodness.
Are they
speed of
actually
game,
going to
though.
end for? Are they going for the end? That's crazy.
They actually might actually have the potential. Because
Oh, they
looking
do
at
have the
death time-
potential, but Levi, will he get caught here? Caspiel, they're just burning through these Nexus turrets. They do have 1 Mountain Drake. Well, not burning, but you know they're going down fairly quickly. Zach Blob has gone down. Will Ron be able to take down this kill? Levi at the side just trying to do anything he can, but that's a second Nexus turret, and that's What is this game? Right now,
Whoa.
Levi and Ronald P are trying so hard, but that's the last hit onto the Nexus, and Malaysia wins the first game.
Wow.
What a comeback! I am shocked, honestly.
As we were saying, let's just run that down real quick.
I was not expecting that
As we
at
were
all.
saying, so far the kills that Malaysia got throughout that entire game were mostly mistakes made on Vietnam's part, but that last clash?
that was
exactly.
oh my god, we got to see that again.
I know.
I have to know what went on. What went on in that fight for it to end so badly for Vietnam. They were looking so good, and then they just exploded.
Exactly. Vietnam. I don't know. Towards the last few moments, they were just making these minute mistakes, and it really cost them. And
Yeah.
look at this replay here. Caspiel, I'd say, gotta get initiate. Jaeyoung in the perfect position. Nobody to defend Celebrity from getting sniped down, and as a result, just goes down beautifully to Jaeyoung. And it was all a matter once Malaysia got those pickoffs right there on the major targets from the major damage dealers. It was all a matter of just cleaning up, and just look at the remaining members of Team Vietnam right
Wow.
here. With Optimus down, with Celebrity down, it was just all in their favor,
Wow,
They
that
just
was
beat the odds.
I want to say what happened is just the curtain call plus the chaos storm took out the damage dealers of Vietnam, and they had no one left to to contest because Levi just easily saying he did no damage. But anyway, that will be game 1.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Malaysia. Good job on winning the first game. If you want to check the rankings, you can go to allstar.garena.vn to see the updated rankings, which teams have won, how many points they have, who are advancing to playoffs after the group stages.
Exactly. And I got to commend the Malaysian team. That was quite the comeback. That was
It's an amazing comeback. I don't think anybody saw it coming. I'm still shocked that even happened.
exactly, again, at the end of the day, it just shows that no matter how behind you are, all it takes is that hope and just keep playing, and you'll never know. That comeback was just absolutely insane. I gotta commend Team Malaysia. That was just
Never
absolutely
surrender.
There
Never
we
give
go.
up, never surrender.
Never.
It looks like the Autobots are taken down this time. It's gonna go to the Decepticons.
So
All
there
right.
you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, congratulations to Team Malaysia right there. Again, that is Team Malaysia from the Legend Circuit of
Legend
Malaysia.
Circuit
right there. Very
Malaysia.
well played.
They took down the Vietnam Championship Series A. That team.
Yes,
Man,
and
that was such a snowballed game, and then they just lost it. They were winning until they weren't.
they just totally dropped the ball, and I mean not just like
The
drop
Ori
it. They just
ball.
like threw it away totally, completely.
They just dropped the Ori ball. Command leave.
Yeah, there we go. So, ladies and gents, again, our next game later on. That was just our first game. We still have 5 games left, and of course, our next game is going to be between rather. That is going to be Thailand versus
Singapore.
There we go.
Yes.
So another juicy game right there. to
Yeah.
look forward to. So again,
The shoutcasters will be me and Shinbu this time instead of me and Arctic.
yes. So there
Yeah.
we go. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. That was game 1 for today. Congratulations again, Team Malaysia. Once again, this is Coach Arctic, and with me is G10 coming at us indeed. And we will be right back for game 2 of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016.
Don't forget, we are broadcasted by Garena Philippines for the full English broadcast. Flashes down, Celebrity can get. Oh my god, Ronald P is actually going to get out thanks to the shield, but Shiro was waiting for that no teleport coming in from UTV here. Jay Young in a very tight spot. He will not be walking out of that alive. Flashes down, Celebrity. But Shiro was looking for a dive. No teleport coming in from QTV here. Jay Young in a very tight spot. He will not be walking out of that alive. Easy flashes down. Celebrity gonna get. Oh my god, Ronald P's actually gonna get out thanks to the shield. But Shiro was looking for a dive. No teleport coming in from QTV here. Jay Young in a very tight spot. He will not be walking out of that alive. Easy flashes down. Celebrity gonna get. Oh my god, Ronald P's actually gonna get out thanks to the shield, but Shiro was looking for a dive. No teleport coming in from QTV here. Jae Young in a very tight spot. He will not be walking out of that alive. Easy. Oh, but Azora Vecchi, like you said, almost getting taken down. The heal will save her life, and Levi will go down to Jae Young. The curtains call has been dropped. Will it be curtains for Vietnam, as that is a 3-4-0 in favor of Malaysia and Dragons? It's a double shockwave, almost forcing both of them down. Ron OP taking down Azora Vecchi with the following. And there is QTV trying to get his ultimate off onto anybody, but no. Caspiel is getting taken very low. Will be going down here, and he is in blob form, but then he's gonna of course come out. No, here does not have his teleport. Will go down to Celebrity. First kill for Varus, and Arhez just almost getting styled up by Levi. Has to flash. Will he actually get this? Late on the ward hop, misses the Q, and Arhez will live. Wow, that Graviton surge was
That was
teleport coming in by Shiro. First ball drop, one shot off the not getting it. All 5 members of Malaysia are in the top lane. TTT jackpot out by side. Oh, shockwave actually landing Jae Young. Stepping too far forward there. Gonna get taken down by Levi with that. That was very awkward. We're in the carry. You're just gonna step out.